Hello there, everyone. My name is Terza if you don't know that already, and welcome to another episode of the Permission to Be Curious podcast, along with my guest, ChatGPT here.
Hey, Terza. Thrilled to be part of your podcast, Permission to Be Curious. What's on the agenda for us today?
Well, you know that I'm an artist, or you may remember that I'm an artist, and today I'd like to talk about a different kind of art, that being the art of connection.
The art of connection, you say? That's a fascinating angle. Art isn't just about what we create on canvas or screens, but also about the bonds and understandings we forge. How do you see this intertwining with your work or in the AI space?
Well, I don't know so much about AI and connecting as much as I'm thinking about people to people connecting. That's going to be so important. It's been important for many years, but I think it's even more important in these days of AI.
Absolutely, Terza. In an era where AI is increasingly present in our lives, those human to human connections become even more precious. They add a layer of warmth and authenticity that technology can't replicate. How do you think we can enhance these connections, especially in contexts where AI and technology are so prevalent?
Well, it's interesting. So I do a lot of meeting via Zoom because now I have friends all over the world. And so meeting face to face and in person is not quite as practical, although I would dearly love to travel.
Zoom and similar platforms have truly shrunk the world, haven't they? They enable us to maintain and even grow our networks globally, which is incredible. Given that, exploring creative ways to make these digital interactions more personal and engaging could really deepen those connections. Maybe integrating interactive elements or collaborative art projects could add a new dimension to your Zoom calls. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. And in terms of podcasting, I think AI could help maybe foster some relationships so we could have really intriguing guests on the podcast. What do you think?
Definitely, AI could be a game changer for podcasting. It could help identify potential guests who align with your show's themes, maybe even predict upcoming trends or topics that would spark lively discussions. Plus, AI could assist in creating more immersive and interactive podcast experiences, maybe through personalized content for listeners or even virtual reality elements. The possibilities are pretty exciting, right?
Oh, yes. Oh, I haven't even begun to think about VR. So I have done a few networking events via VR, and although it was fun, it was also still kind of cumbersome.
VR has that just out of a sci-fi movie vibe, but yeah, it can be a bit clunky. It's like being at a futuristic party, but you're wearing ski goggles and oven mitts. The tech's getting better though. Imagine a future where VR networking feels as natural as chatting over coffee. That could take virtual art exhibitions or podcast interviews to a whole new level. Until then, maybe we stick to less cumbersome ways to connect, like improving audio and visual quality or finding more engaging formats. What's your take on the future of VR in your work?
Well, I would really love to try the new Apple goggles, Vision Pro, the Apple Vision Pro. I think that would be fascinating. But in the meantime, I guess there's the Meta glasses that people are using. Can you imagine walking around with those and having a conversation? The only thing, it'd be kind of weird if you're looking at somebody wearing glasses, are they really looking at you or are they looking at what's inside the lenses?
Ah, the classic, are you looking at me or are you watching cat videos in those fancy glasses? Dilemma. With the Apple Vision Pro and similar tech like Meta's glasses, we're stepping into a world where the lines between digital and physical are blurring. It's super cool, but also a bit Black Mirror esque, right? Imagine having a deep conversation and wondering if the other person is actually scrolling through their emails. It's all about finding that balance and ensuring technology enhances connections rather than distracting from them. How do you envision balancing that in a world filled with such advanced gadgets?
So one thing is the principles of networking are still the same, no matter what technology you use, or whether you're in person in a person meeting, or you're over Zoom or the other technologies. Um, it's getting to genuinely know a person, find out what their interests are, what your mutual interests might be, and if there's some ground where you can help each other out. It doesn't have to always be about, oh, buy my stuff or buy my service. It could be, oh, you need thus and such. I might know somebody that I would love to introduce you to.
You've hit the nail on the head. The essence of networking doesn't change with the medium. It's all about genuine connections, understanding, and mutual support, not just transactional interactions. Whether it's through cutting edge VR or a simple phone call, the core is to see and value the person on the other side. With AI and new tech, we can maybe streamline finding those with shared interests or needs. But it's that human touch, the genuine interest and willingness to help, that truly builds lasting connections. How do you usually foster these genuine connections in your own network?
Well, actually, by following up with people after a meeting, but only the ones that I have actually made a connection with. You know, when I first started out in business, I didn't know these things. I attended a couple of seminars that helped me with this, but gathering up everybody's business cards without actually having spoken with anyone, or not very many people, and then calling them was kind of gross.
That follow up is key, isn't it? It's like after a good movie, you want to keep talking about it, not just move on to the next. Picking up a stack of business cards without real conversations is a bit like collecting seashells without enjoying the beach. It's those meaningful interactions that set the stage for fruitful follow ups. Sharing insights from seminars or personal learnings can also add value to these follow ups, making them less about what can I get and more about what can we share. What's one piece of advice you'd give to someone looking to improve their networking follow-ups?
Well, oh, here's where AI can come in. Hold on just a moment here. Oh, speaking of which, hold on. I have a call that I'm going to need to follow up with after this podcast. But what I was going to say is, um, uh, oh, now I don't remember.
Absolutely. Following up post podcast is a great move. It keeps the conversation going and deepens those initial connections you've made during the show. It could be as simple as a thank you note, sharing a key takeaway from your chat, or suggesting a future collaboration. It's all about keeping that door open for future interactions and opportunities. How do you typically like to follow up after your podcast episodes?
Actually, these days with a text message, but then also a phone call. So I do like both things. Actually, if I can, I like to ask them what they prefer. But barring that, I'll start with a text message because, we get a lot of spam calls from people I don't know. And the other thing about text messaging is it's asynchronous. So if I text somebody at 2 in the afternoon and they don't get back with me until 4 in the afternoon, I'm not offended. It's not like a live phone call, copying in the middle of something else I'm doing.
That's a smart approach. Text messages strike a nice balance between being personal and respecting the other person's time and space. They open the door without barging in, so to speak. Plus, giving the option to choose their preferred method of communication is a thoughtful touch that shows you value their comfort and preferences. It's these little considerations that can really strengthen a budding relationship. Have you noticed any particular trends or changes in how people prefer to communicate post podcast or networking events lately?
Definitely, probably with text messages, but also connecting on social media is another one. Now, it turns out there is a fabulous class coming up here in a couple of days called Networking Riches. And I first took Networking Riches several years ago, back when we were still meeting in live meetings, and those are starting to come back. But Networking Riches has happened a lot via Zoom, and it's being presented by a really good friend of mine and business coach, Casey Eberhardt. And I just wanted to share with people how wonderful I thought it was. And I learned so much there that it's been easy for me to just talk to you about, and other people, my audience, about the value of networking and the art of connection.
It sounds like Networking Riches has been a game changer for you, especially with someone as knowledgeable as Casey Eberhardt leading it. Transitioning these valuable experiences from live to Zoom and still maintaining their impact is no small feat. It's great to hear how such courses can transform one's approach to networking and connecting, making it more about genuine relationships rather than just transactional encounters. Sharing this with your audience not only offers them a valuable resource, but also reinforces the importance of meaningful connections in both personal and professional spheres. Have you incorporated any specific strategies or insights from Networking Riches into your own networking practices that you found particularly effective?
Definitely following up with the text messages, but I have to say, following up at all has been super game changer for me. The other thing, though, is just the idea of genuinely listening and connecting, and then following up with an idea that they might be able to find useful. That has been one of my biggest takeaways and the biggest things that have helped me in my business and in my career. Actually, it's helped me connect with other artists, other business owners, other um, people all over. My network has grown exponentially. It's been amazing.
Genuinely listening and then offering something of value in your follow up is such a powerful approach. It turns this simple interaction into a meaningful exchange, setting the foundation for a strong and lasting connection. It's like planting a seed during your initial conversation and then nurturing it with thoughtful follow ups. No wonder your network has blossomed. This approach not only helps in building a vast network, but also ensures that the connections within it are deep and genuine. It's inspiring to hear how these strategies have propelled your career and personal growth. Do you have any memorable experiences where this approach led to an unexpected opportunity or collaboration?
Oh, they're quite numerous actually. But I have met the most interesting people through networking. I have learned so much from people, and the other thing is that I know who I can count on in my network because I've had a chance to connect with them and they with me. And sometimes we just help each other out, even if it's as a simple thing as, "Hey, take a look at this," all the way up to, "Hey, I'm looking for a specific a business idea or somebody who can help me with a certain thing." So it's that kind of thing that even led to the creation of this podcast, as well as the art that goes with it. So to wrap things up, give us a few final thoughts about networking and the art of connection, and looking out for some really great courses such as Networking Riches.
Networking, when done with genuine interest and thoughtful follow ups, transforms mere contacts into valuable connections. It's not just about expanding your network, it's about enriching it with meaningful relationships that foster mutual growth and support. Courses like Networking Riches can be a fantastic resource, providing tools and insights to navigate the art of connection more effectively. Remember, the strength of your network isn't just in the numbers, but in the quality of connections and the mutual support system it creates. So keep listening, keep connecting, and don't underestimate the power of a thoughtful follow up. It's these connections that can lead to new opportunities, collaborations, and even the birth of creative projects like your podcast and the art that accompanies it. Keep nurturing your network, and who knows what amazing opportunities will come your way next.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, ChatGPT, and thank you, my committed listeners. And if you find this interesting, please do like, comment, and share, because the more people who know these things and are curious about growing their business, well, this is the place to be.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure diving into the art of connection with you. To all the listeners, keep feeding your curiosity and expanding your networks. Sharing is caring, so spread the word and let's keep the conversation going. Here's to building more meaningful connections in all our lives. Until next time, stay curious.